So all over
Okay.
again.
Yes.
I am Viviana Ose. I will be hosting this practitioner meeting. We are here with Shirlyn Wright, and we are delighted to have her. Thank you very much, Shirlyn, for your time and for this practice. We are really, we really like to take, I don't know, to learn from your experience and your journey. So please tell us a little about yourself,
Yes.
about your journey.
Okay. Yes. My background is actually in finance. So before I started my SRT journey, I worked in finance. I taught finance and kind of got exposed to spiritual practices when I was working in South Africa right after apartheid ended. And
Wow.
yeah, and so it was very interesting. From what
The
people
transition,
said,
I
yeah,
imagine. Mhm.
yeah. So just being exposed to this world was again pretty new and exciting, but I was still really like, no, I'm a finance person and I'm going to stay there. But anyway, I would say fast forward 5 years, and I, you know, a friend of mine had a session actually with Kathleen Butler, and she said, Shirlyn, I don't know what this is, but I think this is something you need to do. And so I said, sure, okay, let me have a session. I was stuck in my career and I wasn't happy where I was in life. And so I had my session with Kathleen, and that was in February of 2001. And after that session, I felt as if I knew more about myself. I felt as if my intuition had opened up more. And I started doing things I hadn't done before, like just looking at people, being more present. And I contacted Kathleen. I said, now, what is SRT again? And how do I learn how to do this? Yeah. And then just so happened that Robert was going to be in Chicago 2 months later in April of 2001 to teach the basic and the advanced classes. And so I signed up to just take the basic and wasn't going to take the advanced, and then ended up taking the advanced. And that's how my journey with SRT began.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was actually a complete 180 because it's like, your mind is blown. It's like, whoosh, it's like, oh my gosh, what? There's this world I can actually, get more messages. I can support myself. I can heal myself. Wow, I understand my relationship with my parents now, with my sisters, with where I am, and it was so empowering. That I would go into my office. I worked at a university, and so I would go into my office, shut the door, and do SRT. Students would come and knock, and I'm like, oh my God, don't they know I'm working? I'm doing this clearing. I'm trying to heal myself in the world. What's going on? I open the door. Yes, how can I help you? Yes, okay. Shut the door and go back and do SRT. So anyway, I remember, and this goes to the topic that we're talking about. I remember I was going to bed one night and I said, it would be really nice if the university just let me go. I can get a certain amount of money and then I can start my SRT business. It was just a random thought. 2 weeks later, now I had just gotten my review. It was great. The dean was like, oh, we're going to have these plans, blah, blah, blah. 2 weeks later, the dean asks me to come to the office, and he goes, Shirlyn, we're going to let you go. I said, what? He said, oh, but don't worry, you're going to get this certain amount of money. And I'm just staring at him. And he said, and you know, you can apply for unemployment, and you know what, stick around for for a few days, and you can get your resume together. I'm sitting there stunned, like, I don't have a job right now, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And I had tears,
Wow.
And so as I'm walking back to my office, this voice says, this is what you asked for. And as soon as I heard that voice, I was like, oh yeah, I did ask for that.
I remember now.
Yeah, I remember I did. And then I stopped crying. I was like, okay, I'm starting my SRT business. And so I contacted all of my friends and, had flyers made, and that started my SRT journey. And
Everything got into place.
Everything got into place. I took the classes in April of 2001, and that happened in July of 2001. So it was really quick.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, yeah. And so I was a practitioner then. A year later, I became an SRT consultant. And that's 2002. And in 2003 is when I became an SRT teacher. Yeah.
Great.
Right. So the journey. The journey was interesting in the beginning, because here I am, I had 3 jobs. I was an A-type personality, to now I'm doing the spiritual work. And what do I, it's like, it was learning how to be more at peace and to trust that this is the right path to be on.
Yes. You felt the call somehow from spirit.
I did. And I would have people in finance call me and say, hey, Shirlyn, we got a job for you and you'd be perfect for it. And I'd say, okay. Now I went from making like this amount of money to this amount of money. And I had like a condo, and I'm like, okay, how do I handle this? And so I would go, okay, yeah, maybe I should get that job. Maybe I should, send them my CV, my resume. And I would sit in front of my computer and my body would freeze. I could not even type, because my body was reacting, in a way, letting me know, like, no, this is not your path. You are not going to send in that resume. You have to trust. And so, yeah, that began my journey in trusting my connection, trusting that this was the right path for me. It felt great. I mean, I felt free. I felt happy. However, here I am going into an unknown, right? Starting my business, doing this work. I lost friends because I worked in finance. A lot of people a lot of my friends were those types of people, where it's only like, reality, like this is what's real, making money is real, doing this is real. And I'm doing something completely opposite from what they're used to. So I would say probably about 75% of my friends just like dropped off. And my family, they were completely upset with this. And and for some time I felt alone, that, okay.
Yeah.
And this is where you have to, I think, you dig in and you look at yourself, right? Because I was thinking about this topic, for the past couple of weeks, like what would be important to share. And I think it really boils down to the relationship you have with yourself and the relationship you create with yourself, right?
Yes.
This is where the true trust, that deeper trust comes in, right? So I know you all have had like different meetings and you know about how to prep to work and how to, go through the procedures, etc. Okay, so you've done that. So now what? You have this connection, and it's like, okay, so I have it. Well, what do I do with it? Do I trust it? Is it real? And this is the process that you go
You
through in the
build.
beginning. Yeah, you build it, right? It starts off with you're working with yourself, you're working with clients, but it's a never-ending process because you are always learning to take that step of faith and saying like, yeah, this is what's for me. But it's because you have that relationship with yourself. You get to know yourself more and more. And like, for instance, there were times when I would just say, okay, Shirlyn, is this really, are you sure, you're going to have to make some huge changes, and are you sure this is what is right for you? Are you sure that you're going to be able to take care of yourself, for instance? And I would just, go, open my heart and then like feel it. For me, I'm a feeling person. So I would feel it like, no, that feels right. Even though it looks like my whole world is crumbling. No, this feels right. Right.
Yes.
And
I wanted to ask you, because you're originally from Chicago, right?
yeah.
But now currently you are living in Hong Kong, China.
Yes, since 2013. Yes.
Yes.
And
So
yes,
how was that leap?
yeah, see, that was another leap. And this is the beauty about, like, creating that relationship with yourself, and which is really important for your connection. And you follow what is, the messages you receive. So yes, I was it was my birthday, and I had made a commitment to myself. I said, Shirlyn, what I'm going to do is I want to be happy. So anything that comes into my message box or comes into my space that resonates with happiness, I am going to do it. I'm not going to say no. So I injured myself. I was doing CrossFit at the time, and I injured myself, my leg. And what came into my inbox was, hey, join this dance, performance for the city of Chicago. Because we have this, once a year, we have this citywide performance, right? And so I said, oh, no, my leg hurts and I don't want to do this. And it looks like it's a big commitment. And then again, my inner self is saying, Shirlyn, you said that you are going to commit to do things that make you happy and you like dancing. So, okay, let me just go to the meeting. So I went to the meeting, and it was a great experience, but I was there not only for that experience, but to meet the person who was going to lead me to come here to Hong Kong. So she was a professor at a university, and she asked me, I told her a little bit about SRT and my work, and she said, hey, I want to apply to give a talk at the happiness conference. It's a conference that's like they go around the world to talk about happiness, and it was going to be in Taiwan that year. And she said, she worked with women's studies, and she said, I think we can work together to have this presentation about how to create happiness. How can people develop, like release any limiting beliefs and create, this reality for themselves. And I said, sure. Well, we got accepted. Our proposal got accepted. And then I started hearing, you need to go to Hong Kong. And I'm thinking, okay, I ignored it, a couple of times. It kept getting bigger. You need to go to Hong Kong. So one of my students in Chicago was from Hong Kong. And I said, Ho Ling, you know, that's her name. I said, Ho Ling, you know, I'm gonna go to Taiwan. I'm gonna give a conference, but I think I need to go to Hong Kong. I'm just gonna go there for vacation. I just want to see what's there, what's it about. You know, do you have any friends who can show me around? And she said, sure, let me message my friends and get back to you. So she messaged me back and said, they would love to take you around Hong Kong. However, they want you to teach them SRT. So
Wow.
That little vacation turned into a 3-month working vacation teaching people SRT. So that's how I originally got there. Yeah. And there were,
so you had translators and
yeah,
also.
there was an SRT. Yeah, there's an SRT community already in Hong Kong. And there was one of the teachers there had a center. And so I worked with her. At the time, she wasn't a teacher, but she became a teacher later. So we worked together, and that's how, so I taught like several classes. And when I got to Hong Kong, it was like I came home. I felt very comfortable there. Yeah. And so, and now I will say prior to that, I had wanted to go overseas. I knew I wanted to go somewhere. I was thinking Spain because I learned Spanish, you know, when I was in college and high school. And I'm like, I'm going to go to Spain. And every time I tried to go, there were always roadblocks. I would, of course, clear, meditate, visualize, couldn't get there. Hong Kong happened so quickly, so easily. And this is and of course, this is when we know that we're meant to be somewhere, because there are no obstacles whatsoever, especially if we get out of our own way, listen and just follow through and trust, you know, the messages that we get.
Great, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. So yeah. And then I went back to Chicago for 3 months. Everything worked out really well because I was renting my sister's home. She sold it right when I was going to come back to Hong Kong. I was scheduled to only come back. That was October of 2013. I was scheduled to come back, and that was only to stay 6 weeks, and 6 weeks turned into now 8 years.
Amazing.
Yes.
So, well, Shirlyn, we have your topic is the challenges with trusting your connection. So,
yes.
shall we start with the meditation?
Yes.
Great.
Okay. So everyone, just wherever you are, just take a deep breath and relax. And close your eyes. And take another deep breath. And as you release, just also release everything that's gone on before this moment. Just letting everything go, being present to my voice and to your own breath. And I want you to tune into your heart and just breathe gently into your heart. Let go of any worries that you have there and be completely clear-hearted. Like the face of a mirror that contains no images. If you want a clear mirror, behold yourself and see the shameless truth which the mirror reflects. See in this mirror a reflection of spirit, a reflection of infinite love, a reflection of a deeper wisdom and light within every cell of your body. These will lead you to a place of peace and acceptance. See the totality of spirit within you. Take a few moments to reflect upon this reflection of you as an expression of spirit. See how spirit sees you. As this perfect reflection of it. Allow every cell of your body to become alive with this knowledge, with this awareness. You can never go wrong with having this awareness that you are spirit and you are always divinely guided, divinely knowing who you are, where you are, and what you have to offer. Take a deep breath and exhale and just accept this truth. Now, gaze at that mirror and give a huge smile, a smile of acceptance and happiness and just gratitude for being who you are. Now, take another deep breath in. And breathe again. And as you take your final breath, just allow your focus to go back to your heart and to come back to this present place where you are, sitting in your room, bringing with you this loving truth that you are spirit and divinely guided. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, you've heard a couple of my stories. I was like, how many stories have I told? A couple of my stories. And yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I want to really focus on, as I brought up briefly earlier, I mean, which is what has always helped me with my work is, again, like my relationship with myself. And with our work, like there are times, like, again, we get messages for ourselves and we're not, we know how to tune in, and we know, we're learning how to accept those messages and accept the guidance that we're given. And then there are times where when we're working with clients, that's a different application, right, of this trust, right? And so I think what helped me is to understand what is reality, right? Our connection to ourselves is what's real, right? Our relationship with ourselves is what's real. If we're anything that brings a sense of peace. Judgment is not real. The outside isn't real, right? It's only the outside is mainly to keep us aware of maybe what we're not in alignment with ourselves, right? Like judgment, when we judge ourselves or when we doubt ourselves, right? It's like we have to ask ourselves, why am I doubting myself? Why am I judging myself? Right? Why am I judging others? And I think if we can learn, and I know for me, that was, judgment was a big challenge for me. Growing up, it was a challenge for me working, in finance, corporate America. The competition, right? We're trained to compete with outside of us, everybody else, but we ignore the self. And I think that for me, my long journey of really trusting myself was letting go of all of that, letting go of the doubt, letting go of the judgment, and really only having that relationship and connection with myself. And there were many times I would, call Robert, because when I learned SRT, like I said, Kathleen was the first person I met, and then Robert was my teacher. And what I did is I created a practice where I called him like once a week, like, okay, I did my clearing and I would like to have you check my work. Can you let me know how it is? And there were times where, Shirlyn, it's 100%, it's good. Yeah, fine. And then there were times it's like, no, 0%. There were discarnates. Huh? Right? Discarnates, why were there discarnates? What did I do? But I learned a lot from Robert, because he really said, just if you do, your prep to work, if you really, create a practice for yourself and know when you're connected, know when you're not connected. This is how your process, this is how your SRT work will continue to improve. And it got to the point one time where I was calling him and he said, you don't need to call me anymore. He said, Shirley, you can do this. You're doing this. And I said, okay. And I just said, okay. I think I said, okay, like 3 times. Cause I'm like, I want to say, are you sure? Like, okay. And, it's really wonderful to, be empowered, in this way. And I try to not only do this with students, but also with my clients as well. Right.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of times we believe that, okay, we learn SRT and we know these techniques, and, we kind of question, should we tell, clients how to do certain things? Well, why not? Right? I mean, what you've done is, if you've given them a full clearing, you've like connected them 100% with their own, connection. So, go ahead, fly, trust yourself. And these are the different practices you can do. So, yes, again, reflecting on how I learn and continue to learn how to trust my connection, because it never ends, right? You're always going to be given some challenge, or you're going to give yourself some challenge where you're like, okay, hey, let me see if I really do, have I mastered this? Oh yeah, you've mastered this part. Now there's something else to master. You're always going to be deepening that connection. You're always going to have keep creating this deep, relationship of love and acceptance and peace within yourself. So I think that I would say now, whenever I get messages from, my high self, when I get messages, from others, and it feels right, I don't question it ever. I just say, okay, that's what it is, and I just go with it.
And what do you think that can help us to improve our connection, to trust our connection? What do you think? What can you advise us?
Yes. So one of the things I did every day in the beginning was I had sessions with myself. So I schedule a session with myself, and I would say, okay, so what do I need to clear so that I love myself more, I accept myself more, and I trust, my connection with my high self. And I think I did that probably for 3 to 6 months, because I wasn't making any money at all at one point. And I had to sell my condo and move back in with my parents, which was, that was a big challenge to have that happen. And so when I had that space, I just said, instead of being afraid, I said, okay, so Shirlyn, you are given this space to do something. So what is it that you need to do for yourself? Because there's nothing else to clear about attracting clients. I called Robert, is there anything to clear? Nothing to clear. Oh, then why don't I have clients? Right? And so it gave me an opportunity to see, well, okay, so what is it within me? Right? If I'm open to it, then why is this not happening? So I would say, yes, ask yourself those questions. Ask yourself, where do you judge yourself? Where do you doubt? And how does that occur in your daily life? Because that's part of our lesson, right? Is to, like I said, deepen that relationship within ourselves. So I would say that's one thing to do, definitely. Is to clear. Another thing that I did was I would, like, when I worked with my friends, like my friends were clients, and I would ask them, well, I'm going to give you a session, and what is it you want to focus on? Can you give me more feedback, about, how you felt during the session? Is there anything that, clicked with you? Because, when we first start working with clients, we're getting this information from, on our charts. We're allowing that information to come in, but yeah, there are times where we're not sure that is the correct information, right? It sounds weird. It doesn't make sense. Not that we are to understand it, but again, we do kind of reflect on this. So I would ask my friends for feedback, and I would also ask my friends to send me, people who they felt weren't as open. They didn't believe, like in the US, a lot of times people don't believe in past lives, this kind of thing. I said, if you have friends who might be open, send them to me. I really wanted um, um, challenging clients so that I could learn how to trust, right? Because if they're having some challenges like understanding this or accepting it, then that means, then what do I need to do so that, not to convince them, but so that I feel comfortable, no matter what information I receive, I know that it's really like right and true for that person. So that's another thing I did. Also, I would say you want to have a daily practice. So a daily practice of, it could be meditation. For me, I wasn't a big meditation person. So what I would do is I would journal. So I would just write my who am I in this present moment, and just writing down like, what is it I don't like about myself? What is it I fear about myself? What is it how do I judge myself? Then I would write, okay, what do I like about myself? What do I accept about myself? What do I love about myself? I did that every day for probably 6 months, until the only thing that was left is that I like this, I accept this, and I love this. There was no other, the other vibrations just weren't there anymore, because I wanted to really face myself more, like, where, and it's more like a, how do I say, it's more like you just let it out. You just say, okay, this is what I don't like about myself, this is what I do, and you just keep writing until there's nothing there. So that's another thing I did, is I really wanted to face myself and let go of the judgment, the doubt, the fear, what I hated about myself. Yeah, and really face that. And I think that's a good practice.
It's really a leap of faith at the end.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. And I have to say that something I did as well, that I did not consciously ask for this, but it happened. My family is very left brain. And so they questioned me relentlessly. I mean, relentlessly about what are you doing? You have a master's degree in finance. What are you doing? This is craziness. And I remember I got sick and I couldn't speak. And a friend of mine who does SRT as well, she said, you need to write in your journal all the good that you have done by doing SRT. And I said, okay, let me do that. So I started writing everything that I've supported people with, supported myself with, and I kept writing. I would say after about an hour, I could speak again. So another thing about that's really good is acknowledge and appreciate and have gratitude for the work that you do. That opens up like so much love, right? And it brings you to a place of contentment, like, oh yeah, right, I really am like this. I'm here for a reason. I'm doing this work and it's blessing so many people, because sometimes we take things for granted. And it's not about you bragging about, oh, like I've done all of this. It's not about that, because we're just a vessel, right? But you are holding space for so many people. And if you can acknowledge that, that also helps you trust that the work that you do, and the connection that you've had that help open up other people to find their own, relationship with themselves and their own relationship with spirit, that also is really empowering as well.
Yes. Do you think we can do a little clearing for everybody here about this, about trusting our connection?
Sure, we can. I prepped the group to work before, before I even got on. And so, okay, just checking again. Okay, so I'm asking, and they're going to chart 4. So the intention, right? The intention is to clear any blocks to our, trusting our connection with spirit.
Yes.
Trusting our connection with ourselves. So it seems like the group has an imprint program. It's an imprint of what? And they're saying there's an imprint of self-limitation. Okay. Well, we need to research. Womb, past life. There's a group of religious figures. And then there was a group of head monks. Anyone else involved? No. Okay, so the group of head monks did the harm, emotional, ending in early death. Okay. And so it creates this, there's doubt. Yeah, so doubt is huge. Self-punishment and intolerance. Okay, it's enough to clear. So they're clearing. Is there another past life? They're saying no. Okay, where do we go next? 6A. And on 6A, programs of cruelty, judgment, frustration, injustice, and self-limitation. Okay, do we need to, what they're saying we need to research. Okay. Bardell, past life, other dimension. There's a group of teachers. So part of the group here, you were a group of teachers. Who else was involved? A group of student priests. Anyone else involved? No. Who did the harm? Everybody was harmed. Physical death for teaching and channeling information. Okay. So there's frustration, helplessness. Is there something else? Yes. And then they're saying also there's some self-destruction, negativity, and rejection. Is this enough to clear the life program? Okay, they're clearing. They go to chart 10A. On 10A, dissipation of vital energies, right? So that's anything can dissipate our vital energies, our doubt, right? Any 6A energies can, we can attract people who dissipate our energies. And there's also a desire to escape. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, yep. So sometimes like having that connection with ourselves, facing ourselves, sometimes we don't always want to do that. Right? It's like, I don't want to see myself. No. But the thing is that, every aspect of you is perfect. It's exactly who you are to be in this moment, right? Because there's something not only for you to learn, for other people to learn, for spirit to learn. So the more we can embrace that, the not only like, looking at the positive, we have gratitude for the positive, but have gratitude for even the the challenges that we have within ourselves. Okay, to go to chart 15, programs coming up. And then they point to war in heaven, right? So that's, in a way, it's like inner conflict. Okay, let's clear. Where else do we need to go? 6B. And then they're saying there's blocks to love of life. There's blocks to love of self. We don't need to research. Okay, clear. All levels, layers, bodies, minds. Oh, still clearing. What else do we need to do? They go to chart 32. Chart 32, telltales. We're telling ourselves stories. Oh, and they're saying group 3 statements. So for me, I like going to the statements. The statements have so much information. And creating expansion of human expression. So what's going on? Yeah, it's the first one. Blocks in the conscious mind prevent us from positive expression in lifetime, right? So it's about letting go of our beliefs, perceptions, and judgments about ourselves, lives, etc. And then number 4, the energy of the soul creates the changes in life. Yeah, so here, the purpose is the desire of the soul to have experience, learn, grow, etc. So yeah, who we are is exactly who we're meant to be. And we're always shifting, growing, learning, expanding. Okay, they're clearing blocks to that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. There's something else here. They're saying no. Okay, where else do we need to go for the group? 17. Chart 17, unwillingness to cooperate with high self. What percent? 44% of the group, unwillingness. Okay, let's clear. And that unwillingness can be anything, right? So let's just clear it. Where else do we need to go? Chart 5. And they're saying negative motivations. Right? And that takes us away from our power, right? The negative motivations, desire and ambition, escapism, fear, and anxiety. No need to research. Okay, good, clear. Programs, blocks, reasons, causes, something else. Beliefs, perceptions, judgments. On a higher level, when the group thinks about having like this infinite, like loving, consistent connection with themselves and with their high selves, what comes up. So when the group thinks about it on a higher level, they go to chart 11, dysfunctional soul consciousness. So something's not perfect. Like thinking or believing something's not perfect. Of course, we're all perfect. Okay. Well, we're expressing ourselves perfectly as we can in the moment. Okay, they're clearing. Okay, when the group thinks about this, what comes up? And they're saying on the higher, there's beliefs, genetic beliefs, astrological beliefs, polarity beliefs, major beliefs. Okay, let's clear all beliefs, perceptions, and judgments. Let's go back to the very beginning of time. Clear all these beliefs. On a higher level, when the group thinks about this, what comes up? Okay, now it's positive. And they're saying what comes up is supportiveness. Yes, exactly. Supportiveness, trust, truthfulness, relaxation. That's so important, right? When we can relax and just allow and just like, okay, it comes in, it's like, it's so easy.
Yes.
Good. Is there anything else we need to clear for the group? They go to chart 2. And they're saying, yeah, recreation and play. Recreation and play are both play. Yes, play, right? This is one thing we forget, right? And when we have this infinite, when we trust and we have this connection, you don't have to, there's no worry. We just get to play and explore. Who am I? Oh, this is who I am. So they're saying it's blocked. What's blocking this? They go to chart 5. And they're saying what's blocking is there's some codependency, negative motivations of codependency. Could be codependency on, feeling like we have to work hard, right, to have this connection. So let's clear. Where else do we need to go? They're saying 13. Okay, what's going on with chart 13? Subconscious odds and ends. Yeah, some you know, some of the programming that's still there vibrating. Let's clear it. And they go to chart 8A. Yeah, inner child victimization. Yeah, right. The inner child, that's that part of us that wants to have fun and play. So let's clear, let's make sure that that part of us is like, you know, more active, not in conflict with, you know, because we do. Sometimes we think like doing spiritual work is like, okay, we're serious. There's like this, you know, we have a responsibility, but it's like, you know, if I have to like work all the time and feel responsible all the time, I personally would not survive. I cannot, right? We have to play. We're meant to do that, okay? And then what else is going on? Yeah, chart 16, rebellion. There's a little bit, so rebellion means like, you know, we feel as if we rebelled against spirit, right? We've done something wrong. And of course we haven't, but that's the program. We're clearing it for the group. Is there anything else to clear for the group regarding play? How open is the group to play? 77%. Why are they not 100% open? 17. And they're saying it has to do with Messiah complex, Savior complex, right? We're not here to save people. This is not what we're here to do. People save themselves, right? All we do is we open the door, right? We clear the obstacles. Everybody has the ability to heal and find their own way. Okay, so we're not here to save anyone. They're still clearing this. It's really big. Still clearing. Okay, good. Where else do we need to go? And we're going to chart 23, daily accumulation of discordant energy. So I'm just going to go to 6A. I want to find out what is it that the group is accumulating. And there's an accumulation of doubt, there's accumulation of helplessness, as well as negativity and rejection and some panic. Okay, well, let's clear it. Still clearing. Very good. Is there anything else to clear regarding play? Okay. How open now is the group to allowing themselves to play and be more free and fun and just like explore. 100% open, 0% closed. What percent are they willing to do this? 95% willing. Okay, spiritual kick. Be willing to, you're open to it, right? We can be open, but we also have to be willing, like step out there and do it. So let's clear. What percent are they willing now? Okay, good. And allowing themselves to get the inspiration to do so. Yay, good, 100%. They're going to chart 7. And what is it? Okay, vibrational healing, consciousness changing. What's the consciousness changing? Consciousness changing is freedom. Freedom and giving freedom. Okay, so it's like you're free. And give yourself the freedom. Give yourself the freedom. You know, what I tell, you know, my advice sometimes is just, you know, you have absolutely nothing to lose. And you have so much, just take that step. Just try it. See what happens. Okay. And this is where they're applying the healing for the group days, weeks, months for like 2 months. They want to apply this vibration. They go to chart 19. There's something they want the group to do. What is it? Affirming. So yeah, you know, do affirmations, affirm to yourself. And you want them to affirm what? And they're saying they want you to affirm about play. They go back to chart 2. So give yourself affirmations about play. And also they're going to 6 speed and they're saying, give yourself affirmations about comfort with freedom, being comfortable with having freedom, being free to just explore and be yourself. Nice.
It looks we were so serious previously.
Yes. Yeah. You know, I think, yeah, maybe this is just what the group needs today, because yes, of course, we feel our work is important. It really is, but you know, we're also here again, like I said, to spirits like, hey, sometimes I imagine spirits looking down, it's like, okay, yeah, great, you guys are doing this, but you know, this is a playground. You know, you gotta like, you know, relax a bit. Okay, is there anything else that we need to do? Is there anything that the group needs to know? There's something else they want the group to know. What is it that they want the group to know? And they're saying, they go back to chart 19. Oh, yeah, replace worry. No to replace worry. And I think it's any vibration of fear, right? So anytime you get into that where you doubt yourself, where you worry about what you're saying, if you're worrying about other people's perceptions or whatever, replace that. And so I'm going to ask, replace with what? Okay, any positive energy. They go in a circle on 6B because everyone's different. So replace it with a positive energy that makes you feel what? They're saying that makes you feel supported and also gives you strength. Yes. Anything else for the group to know or do? They're saying nothing else.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I think self-limitation is an issue, indeed.
Yes. Yeah.
And also it looks we were too serious and we need to play more, or we need to know that we are in a playground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the vibration coming up today for the group. And great. I applaud you all because you were willing to release that today. Yay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Shirlyn. That really, I could feel it. It made a difference for me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know if you have any question, guys. It's now the opportunity. Do we have any question? Let me see. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Blessings. We're now like children. So
yeah, that's great. Looks like Maria has her hand raised.
Maria. Okay, Maria, go on.
Hi, it's so nice to be with you, Shirlyn.
Oh, thank you. Nice to meet you.
I am in Colombia, South America.
Yay. I've been to South America, but not Colombia yet.
Well, you should come down here. Shirlyn, I would like to ask you, sometimes when I just saw how you connect like different parts, and sometimes we get some clues that need to be like bonded or connected in order to make more sense sometimes. And I just saw you doing that, and I thought it was wonderful. And to me, what happens to me sometimes is that I like hear words and just I get like a clear idea. And I guess that's where sometimes my resource is just to ask, is this mine? Is this my opinion? Or is this something that I'm receiving? And that's the way I kind of deal with those words or ideas that come to my mind. But I don't know if you have any advice for that. I just was marveled at the way how you connected, asked a question that led you to another answer that was inside the charts. But to me, it's a new thing. I don't know if it
Yes.
was clear.
Yeah, it is clear. You know, when I first started doing SRT, okay, I would carry my books around, Soul Recreation and the Freedom Path, every time it's because when I was clearing for people, I would look and I would read it. So, you know, you would read something on chart, you know, like chart 29, and it says embryo. And I would look at the client and say embryo. And I'm like, right. And the client's looking at me like, okay, yeah, embryo. I'm like, okay. So what I did is I asked my high self, I said, please give me a picture, a sense, an idea of how that relates to the client and what we're clearing for them. How does this, if I'm explaining what I'm clearing, how does that support them? Because to me, when, you know, the high self, of course, they can clear all the charts, right, and mop up. But if the high self is taking you to a chart, it's because the soul is not understanding something. They're not understanding why they're having that particular program. And so the soul needs to be made aware of it. So we can simply go there and we can say embryo, but right, this is a system in which people want to understand practically, right? They want to understand themselves. They want to understand, how does this relate to what I'm experiencing and how I'm limited now? So my suggestion is that you ask your high self to give you a sense of what that means for the client in this moment. And this is really what I did. I said, okay, show me a picture. Sometimes I wouldn't get a picture. It's like, I don't know what it means. Like, okay, let's go back to chart one. What else do I need to clear? But the more I asked the high self and I set that as an intention, the more I did it, then the more I started getting that information and how it related to the client and that particular situation I'm clearing for them.
That's very, very useful. Thank you. What I've found myself doing is that at the beginning, when I am preparing, I ask that, like, so that my words and what I get is as clear as possible for their benefit. But what you're saying, because what I tried to do is, like, I explained some things are very easy to understand, some are kind of like extraterrestrial. So if you trust that you're connected, and if you trust your intention and my intention, some things are not going to be easy to understand. But now that you give me this resource, I think it's much better. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Maria. So anybody?
Hello, may I have a question?
Yes.
Yeah. Hello, Shirlyn. I have a question about what if the angels and the masters interfere my research too often? And I ask them what they want to do. They want to be cleared, but they come too often, so the research becomes too long.
Okay. So if you have other committees that are coming in to give you information, okay, first of all, right, we ask if they need to be cleared or we need to assign. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you've done that, but let's say they go back to masters. Ask if you are on that committee, right? Because we can be on any of these committees, right? If you get that you are on that particular committee, then ask if you need to be removed.
Oh, thank you.
Sometimes that is a clue that we are to be, we might be doing too much in spirit, right? Because yeah, once we reach a certain level of consciousness, we're doing like so many different things. So I do get that you are, they're saying, yes, you are on the master committee. I'm asking, do you need to be removed? They're saying, yes, you do need to be removed from that committee.
Okay,
So we'll
thank
just
you.
reassign you. Yeah. Another thing you can do is, do you, and of course, go through like the reasons why the committees may be blocked, right? You pre-prep to work, you set your intention. But in this case, this is a special case, yeah, where you're on the committee. That happens sometimes. Yeah, they're removing you. But that's a
Okay,
question you can ask. Yeah.
thank you very much.
You're welcome. And know that they're not trying to interfere. When the committees do like show up, they are really trying to help. So that is their way of trying to get your attention.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, welcome.
So I think we are on time. Just before the end, just to remind you that we have a calling line in spiritualresponse.com, so that you can call anytime you want. You can have a consultant right away. Someone's asking a question: how to distinguish that the information is coming from high self or ego?
Yes, yes. This is one of the things that we like. I also teach the ISC, and this is one of the things that the new ISC information talks about is, how do you create a spiritual practice, and how do you know if you're getting the information from high self or ego, right? And so, of course, you should periodically check. When you get information and you're not sure, you go to chart 1. Who am I working with? You go to chart 3. At what level of consciousness is this coming from? Okay, so do that standard procedure first. And then you want to check, where's your ego? Where's your neutrality? Now, sometimes, right, our neutrality and our ego still may be in the way. So another way for you to distinguish is know what it feels like when you're getting effort, when you're in ego versus when you are at peace and you're allowing spirit to guide you. And there is a difference. And I think that is a good practice for everyone to do. I suggest this for like all of my students. It's like, what does it feel like? Like one day, like, don't prep to work, right? Just go to your charts and just say, okay, I'm just gonna like see what comes up, and I'm just gonna let my conscious mind know how that feels when you do that, and then prep to work, right? And then say, okay, I'm prepped to work. And then I get answers from my charts. You're playing around with yourself. Okay, we're going back to play, right? What do kids do? Kids will experiment. They're like, ooh, let me try this and see what happens. And let me try it this way and see what happens, right? So that they know, one thing versus another. Try that. See what it does mean see how it feels, what the senses are, how your body feels when you do both. And then you'll know, because it's about you knowing the difference between high self and ego.
Great. I think we can finish here in this high note.
Yes.
It's really been an honor to be with you today.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time.
It's been an honor. Yes, it's been an honor to meet all of you all, and hopefully everything that I've said will support you and your growth.
Indeed, it will. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.